Lakeview Terrace. Skyfox overhead, you can see the bus up on the sidewalk with a large utility pole on its roof. And here's new surveillance showing the moment of impact. Fortunately, the bus did not have any passengers on board at the time of the crash. No word on the driver's condition. Also no word on the cause of the crash or if the wet roads played any kind of part. Welcome to the Fox 11 News at 5, simulcast on our sister station Fox 11 Plus. I'm Susan Hirasuna. Christine Devine has the night off. Our other top story, a stormy end to the year and the beginning of 2026. And heavy rain could trigger flooding and debris flows, especially in burn scar areas. Team coverage on this New Year's storm. Haley Winslow and Nick Garcia are live. First, though, let's go to Chief Meteorologist Adam Kruger. He's tracking the rain at this hour.
Well, the rain so far today making for a yucky day, but not a problematic day just yet. The heavier rain is yet to come, and that's why we have a flood watch that's currently not in effect, but it begins later tonight and lasts into tomorrow because late tonight after midnight through then and about noon, we'll have to watch out for some heavier downpours that may cause some of those flooding issues, especially in some of the foothills and mountains. Here's what it looks like on radar right now, and we saw it next to you, Susan, as well. It's just a big blob of green all across the map as we've got this wave of widespread, mostly just gentle, light showers, a few moderate showers here and there. And you can actually see that it's somewhat beginning to break up a little bit here late in the day. So as we continue into the evening, the radar will look more like what we see here than what we see up here, meaning just some off and on kind of scattered, mostly just nuisance showers. Nothing too problematic yet. But again, we've got the storm system sitting out here, and that's moving towards us. And once it gets closer, late tonight and tomorrow morning, that's when we see some enhancement of the rain. And so here's how this all plays out as we go into tomorrow. I'll pause this here at 9 o'clock. First of all, tonight, of course, a lot of people have some plans tonight, right? So we've got, again, rain in the forecast, kind of off and on in nature. Here we are at midnight. Doesn't mean it's going to be raining everywhere, but there will be some rain for sure in Southern California. Then you're going to see the heavier stuff start to show up early tomorrow morning. So here's 5 a.m. It starts to the west, gradually spreads eastward. It's right in the heart of L.A. and L.A. County at about 7 a.m. Of course, the Rose Parade starts at 8, but obviously people would be out there before that. So the forecast doesn't look good for that. I mean, it's going to be just pouring rain, most likely, at the start of the Rose Parade. Here we go into 9 a.m., and this wave starts shifting a little east of L.A. from Orange County up through the Inland Empire into parts of the mountains as well. And then a little later in the morning at 11 a.m., it's over our eastern areas and keeps moving away, which means tomorrow afternoon, we're actually going to see very little rain compared to what we see tomorrow morning. So it's not complete bad news for tomorrow, but again, the morning hours, we've got that threat for some heavy rain. That's when we could pick up maybe an inch to even up to 2 in some spots, whereas today it's been more of just this gentle, manageable rain that the drainage system has been able to handle so far. So again, we'll talk a little bit more about what's happening tomorrow and potential rain totals. Also, we're going to look at more rain in the forecast this weekend and next week. Those details a little bit later. But for now, Susan, let's go back to you.
Thank you so much. Rain is raising concerns tonight over burn scar areas in L.A. County. And for the first time in 20 years, as you just heard, the Rose Parade is expected to get soaked tomorrow. Fox 11's Nick Garcia is live in Pasadena with a preview on conditions there. Nick.
Hey there, Susan. That's right. It's raining right now, pretty light here in Pasadena. It's been off and on throughout the day. Volunteers getting the floats ready, putting plastic on top of all the work that they've been working on over the past several weeks. But just north of here in the Eaton Fire burn scar area, crews are getting ready for potential flooding. Crews work on mud-filled streets in Altadena ahead of heavy rain expected overnight. K-rails still in place to block debris from sliding into houses.
Where my lot is, it's kind of dangerous in the area.
Ruben Rodriguez lost his home of more than 30 years in the Eaton Fire. He's keeping a close eye on the weather.
Right now I have an RV here in Altadena. Somebody's renting me a lot. They lost their house too, and the lot is empty, so I have my RV there.
Ruben will also join other fire survivors atop a float in the Rose Parade, which is expected to have rain for the first time in 20 years. The California Community Foundation and Black Freedom Fund collaborated on this float to represent the communities impacted by the fires.
To see the float and to know what it means is something very special for me.
Hours before the floats make their way down Colorado Boulevard, volunteers put on the finishing touches, which this year includes plastic coverings.
Everything's going to be fine. The flowers actually do what they do in nature, right? They glisten, they love the water, they soak it up.
Pushing forward, just as the resilient LA community has all year. Reminder for you, between the rain and of course the parade, there are going to be a lot of road closures, lots of traffic delays. So if you can avoid being on the road tomorrow morning, try to do so. For now, live in Pasadena, I'm Nick Garcia, Fox 11 News.
Nick, I'm just curious, have you ever attended the Rose Parade?
You know, I've watched it for many years on TV. It's very fitting to be here. I'm excited to be here covering the parade. I have never been in person.
Right, but even being up close and personal with the floats, that's pretty impressive as well.
Incredible. I mean, the way that they're able to create these floats out of flowers, it's just gorgeous.
Right, another reason to watch the 137th annual Rose Parade, and that would be right here on Fox 11. It all starts at 7 a.m. with our Rose Parade special pre-show and then the 5.5-mile parade. Christine Devine and Bob DeCastro will be there to cover it all live on Thursday, New Year's Day. Well, the burn scar zones are a major concern right now. Fox 11's Haley Winslow is live in Pacific Palisades with more. What's it like there now, Haley?
Well, the rain has cleared a little bit now, Susan, but it was raining pretty steady all day. You know, since 2025 is supposed to be when we're kind of shedding the old, perhaps this rain is exactly what we need, kind of the proper cleansing to rear up for the year of the horse. And getting a jump start on the resolution, we saw a lot of people running in the rain today and kind of turning tonight's new start into a good thing. Residents ready to ring in the new year with rain.
Fresh air, it's lovely.
And a run.
No one's here, it's just peaceful. It's before the crazy new year starts.
Unusual for the big holiday, the beach bare. And people in the Palisades once again prepare for the worst. Under an evacuation warning with wet weather expected through early next week, the burn-scarred community braces for more possible mud and debris flows amid already saturated slopes. Which is why Caltrans closed the 3.5-mile stretch of Topanga Canyon Boulevard from PCH to Grandview Drive. Crews clear coastal roads, shore up hillsides, and warn drivers of delays, possible power outages, and flooding.
Try to get a sunny New Year's Eve. I drive all the way from Seattle to here, and I spent the Christmas in Napa. It's also raining.
This family welcomes the winter weather and wettest New Year's Day in decades.
Originally we're from Belarus, but right now we're living in Seattle. Yeah.
So you feel like you're at home too?
Yeah.
The weather's nice.
The weather's nice? You guys would say this.
It's not as bad as it could be.
Oxygen for us, that's why it's rain so good for everything.
Sure, there you go, glass half full.
Happy New Year. Hopefully this weather will not make you stranded at home. So fine to go outside, it's not that cold.
Yeah. I'm freezing. And a hope for brighter days ahead.
I hope that 26 brings, everyone lots of love, luck, and success, and happiness.
And sunshine.
And a lot of sunshine, yeah, that's why we moved to LA.
A lot of sunshine. The governor's office has also deployed fire and rescue crews. They're on standby, especially in these flooding and debris-prone areas like here in the Palisades, just in case things get pretty hairy. Reporting live here in the Palisades, I'm Haley Winslow. I'll send it back to you, Susan.
But so far, Haley, things are staying where they're supposed to be. Threats of mudslides, but no evidence as yet.
Not yet. They've been really shoring up the hillsides today, and thankfully they didn't have to close down the PCH. Topanga Canyon Boulevard, though, is closed and will continue to be closed until this rain lets up in the next few days.
All right, we'll look forward to sunnier skies. Thank you, Haley Winslow. New at 5, a Riverside County firefighter has died from a medical emergency he suffered while battling a house fire. A procession of first responders today in Paris honoring 45-year-old engineer Daniel Cook. CAL FIRE officials say Cook collapsed this morning while responding to a house fire near Paris. He later died at the hospital. The fire was extinguished. 2 residents suffered minor injuries. The exact causes of both the fire and Cook's death are now under investigation. One of 3 hikers found dead on Mount Baldy has been identified as 19-year-old Marcus Casanova of Seal Beach. He fell about 500 feet near Devil's Backbone. The San Bernardino County coroner is still working to identify the other 2 victims who were found dead yesterday in separate incidents. Devil's Backbone Trail and others across Mount Baldy remain closed. New details in the investigation surrounding a 2-year-old found alone in someone's car in the Highland Park area. The child has been identified now, and his mother under arrest. LAPD detectives say the boy's 19-year-old mother was arrested for a suspected kidnapping that is unrelated to the little boy. The child and a dog were found in the back of a car that a man was apparently trying to steal. That man took off and has not been caught. Police are still trying to figure out his possible connection to the child. Coming up, getting the wrong food order. California's new law is making sure you get every penny back. What food delivery apps will soon be required to do. And it's officially the year of the horse. China rings in the new year at the iconic Great Wall. Here in the U.S., we're counting down to 2026, a live look at Times Square, where hundreds of thousands will pack in to watch the ball drop twice. We'll be right back. All right, we're tracking this New Year's storm that could cause flooding and debris flows. All that green indicates widespread rain right now. Heavier downpours are expected tonight, especially closer to midnight when people may be out celebrating New Year's. So drive. It's already the new year down under. Happy New Year at Australia's largest city, which rang in 2026 with a spectacular fireworks show in Sydney's world-famous harbor. There was also a special tribute to the victims of the Bondi terror attack, with hundreds of thousands of people observing a minute of silence before the fireworks. In China now, one of the world's most recognizable landmarks offered a unique New Year's Eve experience. People ringing in the new year at the iconic Great Wall with music and a virtual stampede of horses overhead instead of fireworks. 2026 is the year of the fire horse in the Chinese zodiac. And now a live look at the Los Angeles Strip. A citywide event there is expected to draw hundreds of thousands, and a fireworks finale will go off at midnight. Well, tonight you can ring in 2026 in the heart of downtown LA. Gloria Molina Grand Park is transforming into a massive New Year's Eve party. Fox 11's Coco McAvoy has a preview.
Huge New Year's Eve celebration at Gloria Molina Grand Park is going to be so much fun. We're talking about amazing entertainment from musicians like Bardo here. I'm so excited to talk to you. And Bardo, tell us all about your music.
Yes, thank you so much. Well, my music is about me. I'm just been inspired since I was a little kid, just an artistic child, and just trying to be myself in the world. And that's what this record's about. I just put it out in August on an amazing label called Stone's Throw. Shout out to Peanut Butter Wolf. And made this record. It took about a year. Just to me, this is an artistic statement to go up here and play this album start to finish, track 1 through track 12, and show the record, show the front and the back. So yes, it's an honor to be here. I'm very happy to be here, and I'm very, very happy to vibe with all of you tonight.
Yes, I love the artwork on that album, by the way. This might be a tough question. Do you have a favorite song on your new album?
That is a tough song. I would say Love Me Like I Love You. It just sounds amazing. It's just one of those things where, you know, you play it back on a story on Instagram and it hits every time.
Well, thank you so much, Bardo, for talking to us.
Thank you, Coco.
You have got to come here tonight to Gloria Molina Grand Park to see Bardo and all the other great musicians as well. Again, Bardo will take the stage at 9:35, performing for exactly 55 minutes. But we're talking about a free event that's packed with entertainment and food and about 30,000 people all bringing in 2026. Sounds like a great time to me.
Well, here's a look at some other local New Year's celebrations. The Queen Mary is hosting a New Year's Eve masquerade soiree in Long Beach. At least 10 parties are planned at a bar crawl in Hollywood. Enjoy the Walk of Fame with food and drink specials at venues that include St. Felix and Cabo Cantina. Riverside's Mission Inn is hosting All That Glitters New Year's Eve Gala. The Greek in Ventura is also hosting a party on their heated waterfront patio. All right, let's go now to Chief Meteorologist Adam Kruger. I bet I know what you're doing for the New Year's today.
Going to be nice and cozy here in the studio, at least up until, I don't know, 11 o'clock or so at night. And then I'll be nice and cozy at home, watching on my couch. And then I'll be watching the Rose Parade, nice and cozy on my couch tomorrow as well. We've got our own Christine and Bob, our anchors, anchoring the parade tomorrow. It's going to be a rainy one, it looks like. But let's start with what we have right now. So we see the rain, of course, sweeping across our area. Now, most spots have seen, give or take, around a quarter inch. Many areas less. Some areas a little more than that throughout the day today. And it's been spread out over several hours. So there's no flood concerns currently. But tonight, the rain will get heavier. Let's go in a little closer on radar. And for the first time in hours, we're seeing things break up a little. There's kind of some pockets in between waves of rain. So it's not like it's a constant rain all across LA and Orange County right now. Breaking up a little bit. It is a little heavier, but still mostly on the light side across some of the mountains like the San Bernardino Mountains, part of the San Gabriel Mountains as well, and parts of the Inland Empire. So that's what it looks like now. Here's what we see for each of our main 6 regions for tomorrow. So here's the morning. Here's the afternoon. We've got the coast, LA, Inland Orange County, Valleys, IE, etc. And so notice the rain will be for sure widespread in the morning. Many areas around 100% rain chance, but by the afternoon, that rain chance drops as the big wave will have passed, and then just a few showers will be possible into the afternoon hours. Here's a breakdown specifically for LA, starting at 6 a.m., going in 1-hour increments. So again, it's just completely widespread in the morning, especially between about 6 and 9 o'clock in the morning. Of course, that would impact the parade. I think that's when most of the rain will be coming down. And then you see that rain chance dipping in the afternoon. We'll jog it ahead a little bit. Here's a look at 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. tomorrow. So it's not like it's a total washout for New Year's Day, but the morning at times will be a washout. All right, potential rain totals now on top of what we've seen today, which again hasn't been a whole lot in terms of the amount of rain so far today. But on top of it, Well, going forward with this next wave coming through tonight and tomorrow morning, you can see how some areas may pick up a little more than an inch, especially in the mountains. Those purple colors indicating maybe up around 1.5 inches or a little more. All right, so we've got the wave coming in early tomorrow morning. That'll pass by late day tomorrow. We get most areas with a break on Friday, and then our next storm system brings a wave of rain through here on Saturday and lingering rain still on Sunday. So it's not like we're out of the woods here once we get past tomorrow. We've got more rain in the forecast. On our 7-day, again, it's 100% tomorrow morning. We'll go about 30% for LA in the afternoon. Just a slight chance Friday, then 80%, 60% for Saturday, Sunday. Still scattered rain in the forecast Monday, Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday of next week. And throughout this whole stretch, temperatures don't change a lot. Highs in the low to mid 60s with overnight lows in the 50s. Susan?
So much, Adam. California is cracking down on food delivery refunds starting in 2026. If your order is not delivered or the wrong order is delivered, a new law now requires apps to issue full refunds, including tips, taxes, and fees. Also, refunds must also go back to your original payment method, not as app credits. And if your issue can't be resolved by automation, a real person must be available to help. Still ahead, the Jeffrey Epstein file release is about to get bigger. The Department of Justice now reviewing more than 5 million documents. And a daring bank heist straight out of a Hollywood movie. Thieves drill into a vault and steal millions. How they pull it off. The Department of Justice has expanded its review of documents related to Jeffrey Epstein to more than 5 million. It's also increased the number of attorneys trying to comply with the law mandating the release of the files to 400. All documents and photos from the convicted sex offender's estate were supposed to be released by December 19th. But now DOJ is saying it doesn't expect its next document dump to be until January 20th or the 21st. Now to Germany and a bank heist worthy of a Hollywood screenplay. Thieves drilled into a vault over the Christmas holiday, made off with millions in cash, gold, and jewels. The search is on for the suspects tonight. Fox's Stephanie Bennett has the latest.
In a heist worthy of a Hollywood movie, thieves used a large drill to break into a German bank vault and steal millions of dollars worth of cash, jewelry, and gold. Police say it happened over the holiday weekend, roughly 120 miles northwest of Frankfurt. About 3,000 safety deposit boxes were broken into, making up more than 95% of the bank's inventory.
Thieves are everywhere. They turn everything upside down here. They stole from me too.
Police say a fire alarm first alerted them to the bank early Monday morning. That's when they found a hole in the wall and the vault ransacked. Authorities believe the suspects gained access from an adjacent underground parking garage. But so far, no arrests have been made.
The big advantage for the burglars was the fact that it was the Christmas holidays and the weekend that followed.
The heist impacted some 2,700 customers. One customer for 25 years says his retirement savings were inside his deposit box.
I didn't sleep last night. No information is coming out. No one is coming out. All they need to do is put up a sign which safe deposit boxes are affected.
On Tuesday, crowds gathered outside the bank demanding information.
The police were on site until yesterday afternoon and secured the scene. Evidence was secured, so we were unable to enter the room ourselves.
Bank officials say each box is insured for about $12,000 unless a customer has additional private insurance. In London, Stephanie Bennett, Fox News.
2026 could be the year to buy a new house. Mortgage rates just hit their lowest point in 2025. The average 30-year fixed rate dropped to 6.15% this week, down from 6.18% last week. Experts say these declines are tied to Federal Reserve rate cuts and shifts in the bond market. Excuse me. Coming up, the National Guard is in New Orleans a year after the deadly terror attack. Plus, what? Let's go to Adam.
The administration is dropping its push to deploy the guard to some U.S. cities, is what you were going to finish saying. Now on to our Morgan & Morgan traffic report. We've got rain obviously out there. A lot of it is light and not too problematic, other than just being kind of a pain, being a nuisance. Let me take you into a couple regions here. And obviously with it being New Year's Eve, traffic's lighter than a normal week where we wouldn't have a holiday. Couple of wrecks here, 57 north, 10 west. Be aware of those. We see some slow travel near those. The highways in Orange County moving along pretty well. South side, the 405 looking okay. Near downtown, it's a little bit slow, but not that bad. And then look at the 405 northbound, which is usually almost always jammed up this time of day, heading up to the valley. Right now, not too bad. Now we'll look at some other traffic hotspots.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
You're watching the Fox 11 News at 5.
All right, take a look at this radar. We are tracking back-to-back storms. The first one already here, as you know, when the heaviest rain will hit and how long the wet weather lasts. That's all good information to get from our chief meteorologist.
On my way.
Fox 11 Weather is sponsored by Yamava Resort and Casino.
That's my bad. I was not in place. My bad. Okay, so we start with a live view here from Santa Monica. It is kind of dreary out there for sure. We've got all this widespread, mostly light rain going on right now. It's tonight when things take a turn towards the worst, meaning heavier rain on the way. We have a flood watch that starts tonight and continues into tomorrow, and that heavy stuff probably hitting a lot of us tomorrow morning specifically. So on our headlines again, flood watch starting tonight, heavier rain overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. It will be widespread in the morning tomorrow and then turn spotty tomorrow afternoon. So it's not a total washout all day on New Year's Day, but the morning particularly is when the widespread and heavy rain is expected. And there is more rain in the forecast for this weekend. Look at the day-by-day outlook here. So 100% rain chance tomorrow, but again, mostly in the morning. I think we get a break late day tomorrow and into Friday, maybe 1 or 2 showers here or there, but it mostly dry for most places. Then we go to the weekend. Here's our next storm system on the way. So a wave of rain is likely to come through at some point Saturday. If I had to choose a part of the day right now where it looks most likely, I'd say towards the end of the day as opposed to the earlier part of the day. So Saturday, maybe late afternoon or evening, kind of a widespread wave comes in. Still rain and widespread in nature on Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, some scattered rain, maybe some spotty stuff still into Wednesday of next week. Boy, there's a lot happening over the next several days. So here's radar right now. And as expected so far today, just a bunch of light rain, not heavy enough to cause any problems or flooding that we're aware of. And there's been no flood warnings or flood advisories or anything like that. In a little bit closer on radar, the real widespread rain we had just a few hours ago is beginning to push to the north a little, which means there's a few breaks here and there in between the light showers. So you can see how it's not a complete coating of the rain like we had a few hours ago. I'll shift it a little farther off towards the northeast of LA and the mountains kind of near the IE and near the low desert. That rain is a little more widespread and slightly heavier there, but heavier meaning just more so moderate showers as opposed to light showers. And then as we back this out much farther, you can see that spin and that area of low pressure out there over the Pacific. So this is what's currently just driving in a bunch of moisture out ahead of it. And this low itself is going to get closer to us tonight and into tomorrow morning, which is why we're going to see an enhancement of the rain and it gets a little bit heavier. So tomorrow, again, wet weather, especially in the morning. Temperatures will be around 60 or so during the morning hours and up in the low 60s in the afternoon. That's about as warm as it's going to get. Here we go through the day. We'll start with tonight, then we'll look at tomorrow. This is Futurecast now, so going in increments here as we track what's happening at 9 o'clock. You can see that rain is still off and on in nature tonight. At midnight tonight, as we're ringing in the new year, not raining everywhere, but some scattered showers are definitely will be on radar. And then tomorrow morning, here we see the heavier stuff coming in. It'll move from west to east across our area. This is 5 o'clock in the morning. Here's 7 o'clock in the morning. It's right in the heart of Southern California, right over LA and much of LA County. That would include Pasadena, where, of course, the Rose Bowl parade will be going on. So I think it's very likely that we're going to get some good downpours before the parade, at least during the first part of the parade, and then maybe kind of exiting, we think, towards the end of the parade. Here's 9 a.m. A little bit later into 11 a.m., this wave continues to push off towards the east. And then by the afternoon, it's looking better. And I'll take this all the way into Friday, and you can see how there's not much rain through Friday. So we're doing okay there. Like I said, though, the weekend will be a different story. Here's a wider view of how that looks on Futurecast. As we take you into Saturday, there's that wave. This model right here, again, shows it kind of towards the end of the day. That's 7 p.m. And then as we take into Sunday, there's still another batch of rain most likely coming our way. So to summarize, we've got wet weather ahead. Tomorrow, the rain chance for LA, Inland Orange County, and for most areas will look like this as well, where it's 100% in the morning and much lower in the afternoon. And then hardly anything Friday. Widespread rain still Saturday, rain on Sunday, still scattered stuff into next week. Probably not as widespread, though, as what we expect here in the next few days. And again, the temperatures don't change much. Highs in the range of about 60 to 65 and low temperatures in the 50s. Susan?
All right, Adam. Truthfully, it was my fault, not your fault. President Trump says he's pressing pause on deploying National Guard troops in cities like LA, Chicago, and Portland. Legal challenges have blocked the efforts, with courts ruling against the deployments in several cases. Troops have already left Los Angeles, and those sent to Chicago and Portland never actually hit the streets. A different story on the streets of New Orleans. National Guard troops patrolling the touristy French Quarter tonight to enhance security. The move, approved by President Trump, comes after last year's deadly New Year's Day attack on Bourbon Street that left 14 dead. Officials emphasized the troops are focused solely on public safety and not immigration enforcement. Let's take a live look at Palm Beach, Florida, where President Trump will attend a New Year's Eve party. Guests, not as yet. Guests, we're told, are starting to arrive. Would kind of make sense, right? It's 8:30-ish over there. All right, 'tis the season for a winter wonderland. For tonight's Wednesday's Child Story, Fox 11 anchor Christine Devine takes us to downtown LA on ice with a boy in foster care as DCFS is looking for adoptive homes.
Lacing up to get on the ice at Pershing Square. Meet.
My name is Dantes, and I'm 12 years old.
Any tips for him about ice skating?
Oh, just keep your back straight, bend your knees a little bit, and always look straight, okay? Don't look down, because you're gonna go
this way?
down.
Okay. Look at this backdrop for a new experience for this talented athlete.
I play football, basketball, soccer, baseball, volleyball, track, and dodgeball, and swimming.
Have you ever been ice skating?
No.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Remember, always look straight.
With a pro by his side, Dantes took on a not-so-easy new sport. How's it going so far?
Great.
Tell me what you think about it.
I think it's getting fun. Like, I like it.
How'd Dantes do at the Holiday Ice Rink Pershing Square? First time ice skating, how is it?
Great.
What do you think of it?
I think it's fun, and it's a learning opportunity for me.
I love that you're here trying that.
I like to travel around. I like to play sports. I want to be an NFL player. If sport doesn't work, then I'll be a YouTuber.
And in school?
I like science, English arts, math, and yeah.
To learn more about Wednesday's Child and Dantes, call this DCFS hotline 866-921-ADOPT. That's 2367 as the search is on for an adoptive home. Holiday Ice Rink Pershing Square open to the public till January 11th. And they stay open late till 10 p.m. If you'd like to give it a go, tickets are $22 for an hour on the ice. I'm Christine Devine, Fox 11 News.
Still ahead, it's one of the most iconic New Year's celebrations in the world. A live look at Times Square, where the countdown is on to 2026.
Good evening, I'm Gerard Monterey. We are under 24 hours away from the granddaddy of them all. Coming up, we will look ahead to the Rose Bowl. Plus, it wouldn't be bowl season if things didn't get a little weird. Highlights from the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl coming up next in sports.
Fox 11 Sports Desk.
And welcome back. The college football playoff quarterfinals are underway, but tomorrow all eyes here in SoCal turn to Pasadena for the granddaddy of them all. Top-ranked Indiana set to take on 9th seed Alabama in the Rose Bowl. The unbeaten Hoosiers are in the midst of their best season in program history, taking on a Crimson Tide squad used to playing, of course, on the big stage. While both sides appreciate the tradition of Pasadena and the Rose Bowl, the name of the game is not going to distract them from the stakes at hand.
Watching it over, when I was a kid, high school, I can remember, in college watching it as well, and just envisioning what it would be like to play in that game. Here we are. And so, but, for us, it is, I think, probably the playoff piece is, above and beyond.
I remember as a little kid watching Sam Bam Cunningham jump over the goal line right back in the early 70s, I think it was, for USC. But this is a playoff game. We're playing at the Rose Bowl. We played UCLA last year at the Rose Bowl. And I respect the tradition of the Rose Bowl. Been a lot of great players, coaches playing it. Getting ready to play a playoff game.
Duke and Arizona State facing off in the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. This was a fun one. Sun Devils trailing 14-7 in the first. Jeff Sims looking, finding Jalen Moss, and he is headed to the house 44 yards before, check this out, celebrating by jumping into the giant bowl of Frosted Flakes. Those were always my favorite as a kid. But this game far from over. Blue Devils now down 39-35 in the fourth. Darian Menza connecting with Keyshawn Brown. Second play of the drive, and he breaks the tackle, finds the end zone, and then, of course, he's headed for the bowl of Frosted Flakes as well. That proved to be the difference. Blue Devils win an absolute shootout, 42-39. The fourth-ranked UCLA women's hoop squad on the road facing Penn State. Bruins in control from the opening tip, leading by 21. Final seconds of the first half, Lauren Betts knocking down the jumper as UCLA doubling up the Lady Lions 46-23 at the break. They never took their foot off the gas in this one. Now up 23 in the third. Kiki Rice, great feed inside to Betts, who will lay this one in plus the foul. She scores a game-high 25. UCLA improves to 13-1, winning big 97-61. Ducks playing host to the Lightning in a matinee matchup down in the OC. Anaheim rallies to force overtime after trailing 3 separate times, but in the OT. Tampa back on the attack. Brandon Hagel finding Darian Radish to the goal. And that is the winner. Lightning get by in OT 4-3 the final. All right, tonight on Good Night LA, we'll have the highlights from a very shocking Cotton Bowl game right now between Miami and Ohio State. Susan?
Thanks, Sharon. Well, this is a live look at New York, where more than 1 million people are expected to pack into Times Square to ring in 2026. People are braving the cold with temperatures in the 30s. Well worth it for many to see the free concerts and that iconic ball drop. With just hours left to go in 2025, people travel to New York from all over the world to be part of that age-old tradition to ring in the new year. Connor Hansen reports from Times Square.
As we count down the hours, people are packed in tight here in Times Square, waiting to say goodbye to 2025 and usher in the new year. Over 1 million revelers are expected here tonight for the iconic ball drop. It's more than a century-old tradition, drawing in spectators from all over the world.
It's our first time in New York City, so we wanted to experience it. We've always watched it on the TV, so it was an experience to have.
The NYPD is blanketing this area, making sure everyone is safe while they're having fun out here. Police say there are no known threats to tonight's event, but they're still in a heightened security posture just to ensure everything goes smoothly.
The entirety of the New York City Police Department is going to be working between December 31st and January 1st. This is the biggest event of the year.
This year's Crystal Ball is the 9th version of the ball. It weighs 12,000 pounds and features nearly twice as many crystals as previous designs. Organizers also made another big change that makes this year's a little different. They're calling it the Constellation Ball.
We actually did something really special. We went from triangles to circles. We have 5,280 Waterford circles on the ball. They're like stars in the sky above Times Square.
And after the ball drops tonight, they'll be releasing red, white, and blue confetti in honor of America's 250th anniversary. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox 11 News.
A massive celebration in Dubai where the new year has officially begun. Fireworks explode behind the Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest building. Lasers, smoke, and LED images captivate the spectators. It's a display that took nearly 10 months to plan. And the new year has already come for many around the globe. So let's take a look at some of the traditions from other countries. As the clock strikes midnight, the Spanish eat 12 green grapes in quick succession. The tradition, which dates back as far as 1895, it says that the superstition that each grape brings good luck for 1 month of the year. In Colombia, they carry an empty suitcase. It's to bring travel opportunities for the new year ahead. And then in Japan, you'll hear 108 bells ring out in a practice called Joya no Kane. In Greece, they hang onions on the door. It's to symbolize rebirth as the onion peels away, revealing many layers. In Italy, they throw furniture off balcony or out windows, as seen in the classic Italian film Cinema Paradiso. And in Ireland, they throw bread against doors and walls in the house. The superstition is it helps bat away lingering bad spirits and make some room for the good ones. Not all of that makes sense to me. Ahead in entertainment, a box office record at Walt Disney Animation Studios, the film that's now their biggest ever. Police come across a swerving driver on the highway. Turns out the driver was asleep at the wheel. How a trooper eventually stopped him.
This person is either completely asleep or passed out.
A scary situation here. An Oklahoma trooper comes across an SUV with a person asleep at the wheel. The trooper tried getting the attention of the driver, but then had to do a pit maneuver. The driver told troopers he had worked 20 hours in a 24-hour period before stopping to eat and then driving home with the SUV's lane assist activated. Troopers don't know how the SUV maintained a constant speed. The driver was indeed cited. All right, stormy end to the year here in Southern California. Heavy rain expected tonight through New Year's Day. Flood watches are in effect for much of LA, coastal Orange County and inland areas. Now, because of these storms, Caltrans has closed a 3.6-mile stretch of Topanga Canyon Boulevard between PCH and Grandview Drive. The temporary closure began at 5. Officials say there is a risk of debris flow in the area, which has already been impacted by recent storms. Caltrans cleaning up a mess on the Angeles Crest Highway. The road is currently closed in multiple sections due to severe damage from recent winter storms. The highway was shut down in both directions from Cedar Springs to State Route 138. Well, despite the rain, the Rose Parade goes on, and you can watch it right here on Fox 11, so you don't have to get wet at all. It all starts at 7 a.m. with our Rose Parade special pre-show and then 5.5-mile parade. Christine Devine and Bob DeCastro will be there to cover it all live on Thursday, New Year's Day. We'll be right back.
Fox 11 Entertainment is sponsored by Disney on Ice presents Let's Dance, playing the LA area.
With over 17 million TikTok followers and a knack for spotlighting small restaurants nationwide, Keith Lee has made a huge impact. So now he's been named Creator of the Year at the first ever U.S. TikTok Awards. Amanda Salas caught up with him.
Well, happy holidays holidays and congratulations to you, Mr. Lee. I mean, everyone knows your name. They know what you're all about, but now you get to add Creator of the Year to your already long resume.
This means more to me than I can explain. I was just a kid sitting in a Paw Patrol chair that started recording because he was a professional fighter who was nervous in front of cameras.
You know, you cannot spell create or creator without eat. It's in there. Eat is in the word. So what's in the name? Tell me how just eating good food turned into a movement.
So I just was eating, minding my business, being with my family, and one thing led to another, and I think I was just following my path, following what I feel like I was supposed to do, and that's going to mom and pop shops, that's celebrating the underdog, celebrating people who wouldn't necessarily have the spotlight, and going to places that's on an off-beaten path, and that's not necessarily the most popular spot in each city.
You pay for this food with your own money. You go, you pick these places yourself. You go, you buy the meal, and you give an honest review, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, so I pay for all food out of my pocket. The reason I do that is because, one, I don't charge for any marketing budget at all. So if a restaurant, so we only go to places that we're invited to or that we get recommended 1,000 times to. So if a place invites us out, I understand that 9 times out of 10, they don't have the budget to spend on marketing. So I don't charge for that at all. And then for the food itself, I want the exact experience that anybody else would get. And if I tell the restaurant, hey, I'm coming in and I'm gonna review the food, the restaurant is not gonna give me the same food that they give everybody else. So I want the same experience that way, that it's a non-biased review and it's a non-biased opinion. And I get the customer experience, because at the end of the day, that's all I am. I'm just a customer.
It has broken box office records and now is breaking Walt Disney Animation Studios' record as their highest grossing animated film ever.
Do you think we're a good team?
Of course.
Zootopia 2 has earned $1.46 billion globally. It beat Frozen 2, which made more than $1.4 billion in 2019. The film also crossed the $1 billion mark at the fastest rate ever for a PG film. Thanks so much for joining us at 5.
Coming up, all eyes are on LA wildfire burn zones as the New Year's Eve storm arrives. A fire captain will join us live to get us prepared for the worst. Also, just hours before the annual Rose Parade begins, how organizers are dealing with the historic forecast. Police identify the 2-year-old found abandoned in a car with a dog. His mother is now in custody. New homeowners' insurance laws take effect tomorrow, how they could help wildfire victims.
Oh, God. I'll have what she's having.
Plus, we've got some suggestions if you're staying in on New Year's Eve. Carla Renata joins me live in studio with the best holiday movies to watch.
Now, this is the Fox 11 News at 6.
Welcome, everyone, to this final Fox 11 News at 6 o'clock of 2025. Thanks so much for being with us on this New Year's Eve. I'm Marla Tejas. We do kick things off tonight with some breaking news out of Lakeview Terrace. Investigators are trying to figure out what caused a Metro bus to crash into a power pole, sending sparks flying. Look at this. Newly obtained surveillance video shows it slamming into the pole. And that triggered an explosion. Here's the aftermath. So this happened on Van Nuys Boulevard in Lakeview Terrace. Skyfox overhead. You can see the bus on the sidewalk with a large utility pole on its roof. Fortunately, no passengers were on board. No word on the driver's condition or actually what caused the crash in the first place. We'll stay on top of that. Now, of course, to the latest on this holiday storm, our team coverage begins with Fox 11's Haley Winslow, who is in the Palisades fire scar. Haley?
Marla, yeah, the governor's office has emergency crews on standby, ready to deploy because, of course, we've got more wet weather on the way. It doesn't look bad right now. The rain has cleared up. But with the last winter storm on top of this, the ground, of course, is so saturated, which is not good for mudslides. Residents ready to ring in the new year with rain.
Fresh air, it's lovely.
And a run.
No one's here, it's just peaceful. It's before the crazy new year starts.
Unusual for the big holiday, the beach bare. And people in the Palisades once again prepare for the worst. Under an evacuation warning with wet weather expected through early next week, the burn-scarred community braces for more possible mud and debris flows amid already saturated slopes. Which is why Caltrans closed the 3.5-mile stretch of Topanga Canyon Boulevard from PCH to Grandview Drive. Crews clear coastal roads, shore up hillsides, and warn drivers of delays, possible power outages, and flooding.
Try to get a sunny New Year's Eve. I drive all the way from Seattle to here, and I spent the Christmas in Napa. It's also raining.
This family welcomes the winter weather and wettest New Year's Day in decades.
Originally we're from Belarus, but right now we're living in Seattle. Yeah.
So you feel like you're at home too?
Yeah.
The weather's nice.
The weather's nice? You guys would say this.
It's not as bad as it could be.
Oxygen for us, that's why it's rain so good for everything.
That's true. There you go, glass half full.
Happy New Year. Hopefully this weather will not make you stranded at home. So fine to go outside. It's not that cold.
Yeah. I'm freezing. And a hope for brighter days ahead.
I hope that 26 brings, everyone lots of love, luck, and success, and happiness.
And sunshine.
And a lot of sunshine. Yeah, that's why we moved to LA.
Definitely need that sunshine to come back after this next storm. Marla, I've been saying I think that this rain is a good thing. This is supposed to be the year of shedding the old, so the proper cleansing that we get from this rain is hopefully going to gear us up for the year of the horse. So everybody have a very safe New Year's, and we have, 6 hours left? So Happy New Year to you, and I'll send it back to you.
5 hours and 56 minutes to be almost exact, Haley. Yeah, we like the thought of the positive thinking about it, and I see you're going to give us a little festive look at yourself, right? Might as well. Go ahead, Haley. She's ready. She's ready.
They were in my pocket.
Okay. Of course they were. Of course they were. I don't want to know what else is in your pocket. I'm sure there's more of where that came from. Okay, Haley, get home safely. Happy New Year's Eve to you. Let's take you live outside, not far from where Haley is. In fact, this is Santa Monica, and we are in sort of a dry spell right now. Chief Meteorologist Adam Kruger, but we have a lot more coming our way.
Yeah, so, a lot of widespread but light and manageable rain today. That's going to change later tonight, and unfortunately, tomorrow morning, I think, is the most likely time frame to get some heavier stuff sweeping through a big part of our area, and that's why tonight a flood watch goes into effect, and it lasts through Thursday, although I think a lot of the rain comes tomorrow morning and less so tomorrow afternoon. So here's what we see on radar right now. And for the last several hours, again, it was just raining everywhere for a time. Now we see some breaks in between the light showers and sprinkles here and there in a little bit closer. Again, you can see it's not a complete coverage of rain at this exact moment. There are some parts of the greater LA area where there's a little bit of a break. Same thing in parts of Orange County into the Inland Empire. And then the rain is a little heavier, but still on the light side over places like Big Bear, across some of the mountains here to the east, and out towards the low desert like Palm Springs. The rain's a little more widespread and slightly heavier there as well. As we back this out farther, though, we can see why we're going to see different types of rain, why we have the lighter stuff now. It's just a bunch of moisture getting thrown our way ahead of this storm system that's still going to cross our area later tonight and tomorrow morning. That's what's going to energize everything a little bit more, and that's why a bigger batch of rain and maybe even a couple lightning strikes can't be ruled out sometime late tonight and early tomorrow morning. So let's go through Futurecast now into tonight, because of course a lot of people have plans tonight. Here we are at 9 o'clock. Scattered rain continues. Here we are at midnight. Not raining everywhere, but there's going to be some off and on showers passing through. Again, the heavy rain doesn't show up until early tomorrow morning. Here it is. The wave is going to move from west to east through our area. That's 5 o'clock in the morning, near and west of LA at this time. Here we go into 7 a.m. Keep in mind the Rose Parade starts at 8, so all the stuff going on in the morning leading up to the parade, this is going to maybe impede that a little bit. Wave of rain coming through, some heavy downpours in the mix here. That's 7 o'clock. Let's go to 9 a.m. now. You can see that wave progressing eastward, but these orange and red colors suggesting that there's going to be some high rain rates and some heavy downpours. And then into 11 a.m., it's shifting into our eastern areas. And we go into about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and that wave is pretty much done. And then from there, just a few showers here and there through tomorrow afternoon. But it's definitely the morning when it's going to be most problematic. What about after tomorrow? Well, again, we talked about the 100% rain chance in the morning tomorrow, dropping later in the day. Slight chance Friday, maybe a few showers. Most areas will be fine. So we get a little break there. Then the weekend, we see likely widespread rain at some point Saturday. I'm thinking more so in the second half of the day. Still rain on Sunday, and there's chances for at least scattered rain continuing into Monday, Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday of next week. And during this time, temperatures aren't going to be fluctuating a whole lot. Overnight lows will be in the 50s for a lot of us, and you see those high temperatures in the low to mid 60s. Marla?
All right, Adam, thank you so much. Well, heads up for drivers in the Topanga area. Because of the rain, Caltrans has fully closed a 3.6-mile stretch of Topanga Canyon Boulevard between Pacific Coast Highway and Grandview Drive. Officials say there is a risk of debris flow in this area, which has already been impacted by recent storms. Travelers should plan alternate routes. And Angeles Crest Highway is currently closed in multiple sections due to severe damage from those recent storms. The highway was shut down in both directions from Cedar Springs, 3.3 miles east of Newcomb's Ranch, to State Route 138. No word on when it will reopen. Officials say damage assessments are ongoing. Going to be some time. Well, those closures are an example of what can happen in extreme conditions. Los Angeles County Fire Captain David Dantic joins me now live to talk about this latest storm. Thanks so much for being with me, Captain. Happy New Year's Eve to you. I know you're busy tonight.
Very much so, and Happy New Year's to you as well.
All right, let's start with those burn scar areas. I imagine that those are the most concerning for you and your crews. What can you tell us about these areas of concern?
That's very correct. We are concerned about the burn scar areas just due to the fact because of the recent burns, it takes away the vegetation that was there and doesn't stop that. So they're more prone to mud and debris flows. So that we are constantly monitoring. The Los Angeles County Fire Department is constantly monitoring the situation.
Okay.
And we do have upstaffing for this as well.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about how you've increased staffing and resources that are out there on hand. We're looking at some file video of last week when the storm was pretty vicious across much of Southern California. So how much more staff do you have on hand? What do you want the general public to know, to assure them?
Well, yeah, we want to assure that the Los Angeles County Fire Department safety is the biggest priority. And with this concern, we've seen the devastation that was caused last week during the holiday season of Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. We do have extra dozer teams that are staged. Swiftwater ground units are staged throughout the county, as well as cross-staffing our Type 3 engines, which are capable of going off-road and all-terrain. The biggest thing, and we have our 3 regional air squads that are staffed with 2 rescue swimmers. And we saw the importance of what happened in Lancaster and the effects that they had, their heroic efforts in picking off and hoisting over 35 people and getting them to safety. We just want to make sure that the public knows that they've seen that devastation and what can cause. Have a plan. Don't drive out there if you necessarily don't have to go out somewhere tonight. And make sure you don't try to go over any flowing water. Water is very powerful. And all it takes is 12 inches and it can sweep away a car. And we've seen the devastation that it can cause. Make sure you pay attention to all the alerts. Pay attention to alert.lacounty.gov or ready.lacounty.gov/rain. And just to stay up to the date with information.
Yeah, I mean, obviously many words of wisdom there. I was taking notes. Have a plan. You're talking about the power of just 12 inches of water. We were seeing some video of last week when, yes, a big rig was able to go through, but there are other vehicles that went through and they were okay, but just 12 inches. There's that mantra, turn around, don't drown. That's important to remind our viewers tonight, of course. What about those burn scar evacuation warnings? Let's just throw this up on the screen so our viewers can take note of this. Warnings in place for the Palisades and Eaton fire zones, Agua Dulce, Franklin, Kenneth, Canyon burn scar areas. Evacuation warnings at this point, not actual mandatory orders. Isn't that right?
That's correct. And law enforcement will handle any evacuation warnings or orders. It's important, though, that we are under these warnings to have a plan. If you live in those areas, have a plan. Make sure that you talk to the family that if in an event something does happen, you know where to go and you know what to have with you. Ready, Set, Go is not just for wildfires. It's also can go for these storms too as well. Make sure you have all your important documents with you. Make sure your car is ready to go out if you are being forced to evacuate. But the evacuations will be taking place by law enforcement and they carry out their evacuations. Just make sure everybody pay attention.
Off air, you and I were exchanging messages and you said hopefully the storm isn't as bad as last week. It doesn't it's not forecasted to be as bad, thank goodness. But are there any lessons that you want our viewers to know? Did you see some things happen that you just thought, oh goodness, that's not the way to handle it when a rainstorm comes like that?
Well, I think, Marla, the important thing is not to be complacent. When people get complacent and think it's no big deal, that's when people get hurt. So we want to make sure that biggest thing too, if you see somebody getting swept away, don't try to go in and rescue themselves. Our job is to protect you and life and make sure you guys are safe. And we don't want to put yourself in danger. Call 911 if something happens of that sort. If you do have access to a rope, try to throw a rope to them. But call 911. Let us handle that situation because we want to take care of you guys and make sure you guys have a safe New Year's.
You're a professional. We'll leave it up to you. All right. Thanks again for taking time out of your busy night tonight, LA County Fire Captain David Dantic. You be safe as well. Thanks to all the hard work for all of your crews, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Well, for the first time in 20 years, the Rose Parade is expected to get just soaked tomorrow, as we've heard from Adam. Fox 11's Nick Garcia has the latest on conditions there.
Crews work on mud-filled streets in Altadena ahead of heavy rain expected overnight. K-rails still in place to block debris from sliding into houses.
Where my lot is kind of dangerous in the area.
Ruben Rodriguez lost his home of more than 30 years in the Eaton fire. He's keeping a close eye on the weather.
Right now I have an RV here in Altadena. Somebody's renting me a lot. They lost their house too, and the lot is empty, so I have my RV there.
Ruben will also join other fire survivors atop a float in the Rose Parade, which is expected to have rain for the first time in 20 years. The California Community Foundation and Black Freedom Fund collaborated on this float to represent the communities impacted by the fires.
To see the float and to know what it means is something very special for me.
Hours before the floats make their way down Colorado Boulevard, volunteers put on the finishing touches, which this year includes plastic coverings.
Everything's going to be fine. The flowers actually do what they do in nature, right? They glisten, they love the water, they soak it up.
Pushing forward, just as the resilient LA community has all year. And one last reminder for you, there's going to be a lot of traffic delays between the weather and, of course, the parade. There are lots of road closures. So if you can avoid being out in the morning, try to do so. In Pasadena, I'm Nick Garcia, Fox 11 News.
All right, Nick, thanks. You can watch the 137th Annual Rose Parade right here on Fox 11. It all starts at 7 a.m. with our Rose Parade special pre-show, and then the 5.5-mile parade. Bob DeCastro and Christine Devine, they will be there to cover it all live tomorrow, New Year's Day. All right, because of the rain, how about this? Horse races scheduled for tomorrow at Santa Anita Park have also been canceled. Park officials say the two-day storm has picked up strength and it's expected to bring several inches of rain to the area around the Arcadia racetrack. The canceled races will be rescheduled in the coming weeks. The first makeup day will be next Thursday, January 8th. Developing tonight, a Riverside County firefighter has died from a medical emergency he suffered while battling a house fire. A procession of first responders today in Paris honoring 45-year-old engineer Daniel Cook. Cal Fire officials say Cook collapsed this morning while responding to a house fire near Paris. He later died at the hospital. The fire was put out. 2 residents suffered minor injuries. The exact causes of both the fire and Cook's death are still under investigation. New details in the investigation into a 2-year-old boy found alone in a stranger's car in Highland Park. The child has been identified and his mother is now under arrest. LAPD detectives say the boy's 19-year-old mother was arrested on kidnapping charges unrelated to the little boy. Child and a dog were found in this car Sunday after a man reportedly tried to steal it but then took off. It's still unclear how or if the boy is related to the would-be car thief. The child is now in the care of the Department of Child and Family Services. One of 3 hikers found dead on Mount Baldy has been identified as 19-year-old Marcus Casanova of Seal Beach. He fell about 500 feet near Devil's Backbone. His cause of death is still pending. The San Bernardino County coroner is still working to identify the other 2 victims recovered from the snowy mountain yesterday. Devil's Backbone Trail and others across Mount Baldy remain closed. President Trump says he is pausing his push to deploy National Guard troops in cities like LA, Chicago, and Portland. Legal challenges have blocked the efforts, with courts ruling against the deployments in several cases. Troops have already left Los Angeles, and those sent to Chicago and Portland never actually hit the streets. Trump hinted the plan couldn't return if crime rises again. But for now, control of the Guard is shifting back to the states. President Trump will continue work in the new year toward phase 2 of his ceasefire plan between Israel and Hamas, while also working toward peace between Ukraine and Russia. Caroline Shively reports from Washington.
Foreign policy at the forefront for President Trump in 2026, from Israel to Ukraine to Russia.
We have a few very thorny issues, as you can imagine.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu tells Fox the main takeaway from his meeting with Trump this week can be summed up like this.
Well, one word: disarmament. Hamas committed to disarm. It's got still about 20,000 people with basically Kalashnikov rifles, which they use periodically to execute anyone who doesn't want the continuation of their tyranny.
Starting Thursday, Israel is planning to suspend operations for dozens of humanitarian groups in Gaza, saying they failed to comply with the new registration rules aimed at keeping Hamas from infiltrating their ranks. Some of those groups are pushing back.
Israel has been carrying out smear campaigns and delegitimizing campaigns against humanitarians and civil society for years.
Meanwhile, in Ukraine, officials said Wednesday they'll meet with U.S. and European officials in January, trying to hammer out a peace deal with Russia. Overnight, Ukrainian forces say Russian attack drones hit 11 locations, including this apartment building in Odessa, where at least 6 people were injured, while Russia says it shot down 86 Ukrainian drones and vowed to take a tougher stance in negotiations.
While they say there's 90% agreement, I doubt that Vladimir Putin thinks that the relevant 10% that remains is anything he's willing to give up on.
A recent Fox News poll says 42% of Americans approve of President Trump's foreign policy, while 57% disapprove. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
Well, still to come, several students were injured in a horrific accident at a local private school. Now there's a lawsuit over this deadly crash. Those details ahead, plus this.
People are packing in here in Times Square as we count down the hours to 2026. I'm Connor Hansen in New York City. I'll have more coming up.
Oh, beautiful, right? Happy New Year from down under. Australia's largest city rings in 2026 with a spectacular fireworks show in Sydney's world-famous harbour. There was also a special tribute to the victims of the Bondi terror attack, with hundreds of thousands of people observing a minute of silence before the fireworks. In China, one of the world's most recognizable landmarks offered a unique New Year's Eve experience. People ringing in the new year at the iconic Great Wall with music and a virtual stampede of horses overhead, instead of fireworks. 2026 is the year of the fire horse in the Chinese zodiac. Well, with just hours left to go in 2025, people have traveled to New York, to the Big Apple, from all over the world to be part of one of the most well-known New Year's traditions. Fox's Connor Hansen reports from Times Square.
As we count down the hours, people are packed in tight here in Times Square, waiting to say goodbye to 2025 and usher in the new year. Over 1 million revelers are expected here tonight for the iconic ball drop. It's more than a century-old tradition, drawing in spectators from all over the world.
It's our first time in New York City, so we wanted to experience it. We've always watched it on the TV, so it was an experience to have.
The NYPD is blanketing this area, making sure everyone is safe while they're having fun out here. Police say there are no known threats to tonight's event, but they're still in a heightened security posture just to ensure everything goes smoothly.
The entirety of the New York City Police Department is going to be working between December 31st and January 1st. This is the biggest event of the year.
This year's Crystal Ball is the 9th version of the ball. It weighs 12,000 pounds and features nearly twice as many crystals as previous designs. Organizers also made another big change that makes this year's a little different. They're calling it the Constellation Ball.
We actually did something really special. We went from triangles to circles. We have 5,280 Waterford circles on the ball. They're like stars in the sky above Times Square.
And after the ball drops tonight, they'll be releasing red, white, and blue confetti in honor of America's 250th anniversary. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox 11 News.
And take a look at what some lucky Big Bear visitors are experiencing right now. It's the annual Torchlight Parade at Snow Summit. More than 200 skilled skiers and snowboarders are zipping down the mountain carrying torches. The spectacle transforms the mountain darkness into a sea of light. Look at that. That does look very cool, doesn't it? Wow. There's also live entertainment and a grand snowball drop, a grand snowball drop as well. That's beautiful. All right, much more news ahead in the 6:30 half hour still to come. Fans of Bridgerton, you're going to love this. An immersive event promises candlelight, a string quartet, and Regency-inspired dress. Details ahead. Plus this.
I'm Laura Diaz in the Santa Clarita Valley, where we will be riding with a sheriff's deputy as he looks for suspected drunken drivers on this New Year's Eve. It's critical work. That story coming up.
You're watching the Fox 11 News at 6.
I'm Haley Wenzel in the Palisades, where people are getting ready to ring in the new year with rain. People in the Palisades once again bracing for the worst as they're under an evacuation warning with more wet weather on the way.
Well, from the Eden Fire burn scar area down to Colorado Boulevard here in Pasadena, people are getting ready for the rain. Here, volunteers are readying the floats, and up near the burn scar, crews are shoring up the streets.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Fox 11 News at 6 o'clock at the bottom of the hour. I'm Marla Tejas. Let's get straight to Fox 11 Chief Meteorologist Adam Kruger for that weather update.
Fox 11 Weather is sponsored by your SoCal Hyundai dealers.
All right, Marla, we've got the rain lingering still from earlier today. Just a widespread batch of mostly light showers. Many areas have had around a quarter inch or less, and some of the mountains maybe half inch or so far today, and spread out over several hours. So no flood problems now. But the rain gets heavier late tonight and really more so tomorrow morning. And I just got a fresh model run. We get these every 6 hours, and literally just 5 minutes ago, a new model run came in, which is going to be different from the one you saw at the start of our 6 o'clock newscast. So we'll have that in a second. In a little closer on radar, again, you see some waves of rain. Again, this is light showers, sprinkles, things of that nature. There's some breaks in between these little waves as well, so it's not a constant rain for everybody. Going into tomorrow, though, it's a 100% rain chance for most areas in the morning. Here's the afternoon. Here's our 6 different main regions that we track, and you can see how, again, it's going to be widespread early, not as much later in the day. So not a washout through the day tomorrow, but certainly it could be the case in the morning. Another way to look at it, as we go hour by hour with the rain chances for L.A., again, 100% around 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock, about 90% later in the day. Those odds are dropping, just a few spotty showers later in the afternoon. Here's 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So, for example, many areas will be okay once we get past the morning tomorrow. All right, now to that fresh model run that we just got into our computer system. I just glanced at it real quick a minute ago. So in the short term here, into 9 o'clock tonight, again, a little more of what we're seeing right now. These waves of showers passing through. Here's midnight. It's not raining everywhere at midnight, but there will be some rain in some spots. Then we go into the morning, and we still have this wave of heavier rain that's going to move from west to east. Here's a look at 5 a.m. Here's a look at 7 a.m. It's kind of centered right over L.A. at this time. Of course, the parade likely impacted around this time. It's set to start at 8 o'clock, but obviously people are out and about before the parade officially begins, and so some wet weather, some heavy rain is possible at that time. Here we are at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's slowly shifting eastward. By 11 a.m., you can see it's focused more so over our eastern areas, parts of Orange County. We go into the afternoon, and again, things are looking much quieter. Now, with this fresh model run, we can also go a little bit farther all the way into Saturday. So let's do that. Here we are Friday, lots of cloud cover, very little rain though. And I'll take you now into Saturday, pausing it in the middle of the day, because that'll be the next wave from a second storm system that comes in. And this one also looks to be widespread on Saturday. Potential rain totals, this is also a new model update as well. So areas in purple, we're expecting around 1 inch or a little more, maybe up to 2 inches. And then in the mountains and foothills where you see those red spots, that's where it's possible we get up to 2 to 3 inches on top of what we've seen so far today. Marla?
All right, Adam, thank you. Get ready to welcome 2026 with a huge celebration at Gloria Molina Grand Park in downtown L.A. While festivities are happening all over our region, law enforcement is keeping a close eye out for impaired drivers. Let's check in with Fox 11's Laura Diaz. She's live there in the Santa Clarita area. Laura?
But the big problem is that people sometimes drink too much and then get behind the wheel with deadly consequences. That's why we know law enforcement everywhere will be out in force tonight. I'm so very lucky tonight to be here in the Santa Clarita Valley, and we're going to be talking to Deputy Sam Kurameng, who is part of the detail here involved in trying to pick up suspected drunken drivers. It's very important work that you're going to be doing tonight, Deputy. Thank you for joining us live here on Fox 11. Tell us why the work is so important.
Bottom line, it saves lives. Intoxicated drivers, they're out there, they're causing havoc, and they can unfortunately take lives or seriously injure people on the road.
Now, you've been doing this about 5 years. You've been with the Department 10. About half of that, you've been part of this strong effort to try to get people off the road who are impaired. Tell me what you've learned over the course of that time.
Main thing that I've learned is that impaired driving isn't worth it. There's ride shares, let alone designated drivers. Driving under the influence isn't worth it anymore. You can hurt somebody or possibly take your own life or take somebody else's life, and you're going to have to live with that for the rest, of all time.
We are going to hop in the car here with you pretty soon. You told me last year you arrested over 100 people for driving under the influence?
That's correct.
Okay. What do you expect for us to see tonight as we go out with you?
Well, I'm expecting just normal traffic as usual, but I'm going to be highly vigilant, looking for intoxicated drivers, such as, inability to control their vehicle, stay in their lane, regulate their speed, especially right now. It's raining, and normally people drive slow. And then again, same thing, just making sure everybody's driving safe.
All right, Deputy, we thank you for your time. We're going to be spending more time with you as we get into the vehicle that you see behind me. I'm Laura Diaz reporting live from the Santa Clarita Valley, wishing everybody a happy and safe New Year's Eve.
A really important and life-saving message, Laura. Thank you both so much. Well, with all that said, in related news, the California Highway Patrol, CHP, ramping up enforcement for New Year's with a 30-hour statewide crackdown that is now underway. Officers will focus on impaired driving, speeding, and seatbelt violations following a Christmas effort that saw almost 300 DUI arrests and 8 fatalities statewide. And get ready to slow down. New speed cameras will be tracking drivers. That includes 125 cameras around L.A., with more in Glendale and Long Beach. The cameras will issue tickets to drivers going at least 11 miles over the speed limit. In most cases, the first violation will be a warning. Tickets range from $50 to $500, depending on speed. The parents of a 15-year-old boy who died after being struck by a vehicle in the parking lot of Campbell Hall High are suing that school. Cosmo Silverman was in the 9th grade at the private Studio City school. He died in June of this year after being pinned between 2 vehicles during school pickup. His parents call it, quote, severe negligence and systemic failures in supervision and campus safety. Well, ahead, it has been a tough year for many homeowners fighting to recover after the January wildfires. Now, new state laws regarding insurance may ease the burden for future fire victims.
Fox 11 Traffic is sponsored by My Home Sold.
Well, of course, today not officially a holiday, but it's kind of like a holiday, and there's very few cars on the roads right now, especially compared to a normal weekday. So let's go into a couple of regions. By the way, I obviously have the radar turned down. You can see where there's light showers scattered here and there across the area. Out into the IE on the 10 East right there, we see a wreck, but things are actually moving smoothly through that spot. Highways in Orange County looking okay. Here on the south side, this is near Santa Fe Springs. On the 605 South, we have a wreck. You can see some slow travel there, but also the 5 both directions leading up to that intersection, a little bit slow as well. It's stop and go in a few parts of the highways around the downtown area and up into the San Fernando Valley. Look at the 405 northbound and the 101 moving just fine. Certainly not the normal for this time of day. Now we'll look at some other traffic hotspots.
Hello, I'm Adrian Hernandez with MyHomeSold.com, and we want to buy your house cash. We'll give you a cash offer for your house today. Sell your house the easy way with no commissions, no fees, no repairs. For free, no obligation cash offer. Go to MyHomeSold.com.
We are just days away from the one-year anniversary of the devastating January wildfires. Many fire survivors have been challenged by the response of insurance companies, but that might change with new laws related to homeowners insurance that go into effect tomorrow on New Year's Day. Reporter Tom Vakar from our Bay Area sister station has the update.
Perhaps the most important change for homeowners is that the state will create its own wildfire catastrophe fire risk computer model to check it against rates charged by insurers' own secret computer models.
Right now, consumers have no window into why fire models charge them what they do or decide they're uninsurable.
Why? Because insurers' models do not have to account for risk improvements made by homeowners or utilities.
We want to make sure that the models that they're using don't exaggerate risk, don't overstate risk and cause rates to be higher than they should.
Another big change, 2 state legislators will now sit on the board of the FAIR Plan, California's insurer of last resort.
But they're not allowed to vote, and all of their proceedings are still private. They will have no influence over any decision the FAIR Plan makes, for example, to not pay the smoke claims that fire survivors submit.
There's going to be an awful lot of accountability and a lot more transparency coming. By putting people in that room, we can be sure that they're actually going to follow what they're supposed to be doing.
I would like to see the consumer member of the board have a vote, and I'd like to see the legislative member also have a vote.
Another change, insurers must pay 60% of a homeowner's personal property coverage limit, even if they don't have an inventory list of all their personal property and contents.
You're going to be able to get up to $350,000 without having to itemize anything.
Those with a provable list can get 100%. Another new rule extends wildfire cancellation and non-renewal moratorium protections to businesses, not just homeowners, in disaster zones.
Extending the non-renewal moratorium protections to businesses that are in the vicinity of where there's been a disaster is really important.
The legislature has also created a fund to help individuals and communities do things to mitigate and reduce wildfire risks and losses.
Everyone, from the insurance companies to homeowners, agree if we harden our homes, we make them less fire prone, they're less likely to burn down.
We need a lot more of this. I would love to see low interest or no interest loans available at large scale for people to be able to do things to harden their homes.
Well, that was Tom Vakar reporting. At this moment, insurance companies have not agreed to provide discounts or coverage to homeowners who harden their homes, nor are they required to stop cancellations, non-renewals, or even sell any policies at all. All right, still ahead, popular weight loss drugs like Wegovy and Ozempic will no longer be covered for some Californians. We'll explain who's being cut off and why. A recent survey revealed most Americans, they'll be home tonight to ring in the new year. So you can stay with us for some great suggestions. I love this scene and Love Actually. We'll talk more about it coming up. Well, for a lot of us, New Year's Eve isn't about the fireworks or the over-the-top celebrations. Instead, it's more about comfy, cozy cuddles with loved ones watching a great movie. Doesn't that sound nice? That sounds lovely. Curvy film critic Carla Renata, she's here on this New Year's Eve with all of her sparkle. And I'm not just talking about your outfit, your personality as well.
Thank you.
You have your top New Year's Eve holiday picks.
I do.
So these are movies that, if you're going to stay home tonight, which of course so many people will, let's put one of these on, right?
Yes.
Starting with Sleepless in Seattle. I'm not going to argue with this one.
Listen, I love this movie so much. It's actually kind of arguably like a Valentine's Day movie, so to speak, but I kind of love it for New Year's Eve just because it's a Rob Reiner film, and you know, I just love Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal, and I love the whole premise of them calling in for the radio show and everything. It's just really lovely.
This is Tom Hanks, Sleepless in Seattle.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Is Tom Hanks, Rosie O'Donnell, Meg Ryan. It's hilarious.
Yeah. So this is a great one. I looked it up. This is now I'm getting my years mixed up. I think this is 93, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, early 90s.
Okay, early 90s.
Yeah.
Next one is with Billy Crystal.
Yes.
When Harry Met Sally.
Clearly, I'm a Billy Crystal fan.
Yeah.
Two of my picks include Billy Crystal.
Yes.
When Harry Met Sally is another one. It's just a nice little kitschy romantic comedy, and this one actually does culminate at the end with New Year's Eve happening at the end, which I found out, you know, that he changed the ending based on Rob Reiner, rather the late director, changed the ending after he met his wife Michelle.
Oh,
it had a completely different ending to the film.
Oh my gosh.
He wasn't running down the street to go kiss her and all of that. It was a completely different ending.
Well, speaking of culmination, there was just the scene there too. You didn't bring up the scene in the diner.
Oh my God, that's the iconic scene. They recreated that for a commercial not too long ago.
I know.
It was hilarious. I love that.
I love that one. And Love Actually. That was our teaser.
Yes, that was our teaser with the scene from Hugh Grant dancing. That makes me laugh so loud because he's in the back, his little booty is wiggling and everything. But then the other part that I love in that movie is Bill Nye singing "Love Is All Around Me," and he can't quite get the
words. Yeah,
it's hysterical. But it also deals with all these 9 people that have these different situations. And my favorite storyline in the whole film is the one with the little boy who has the crush on the little girl who's going back to America. And I'm like, aw.
Yeah.
Like, I remember what that was like, having a crush on somebody in grade school and thinking the world was going to end if they didn't like you back.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think adults feel that way too, though, sometimes.
Yeah, we always feel that way.
We always feel that way. Okay, so those are your picks. I have a pick, and this one is called The Christmas Showdown.
Oh, Marla, why are you trying to make me cry?
Oh, sweetheart. This is amazing. So Carla is featured in her first feature film here. You can stream this right now on HBO Max. My husband John and I, we watched this. You really are tearing up.
I am.
Of course. We watched so proudly.
No, you did. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy. Okay, sorry.
No.
Woo!
You're crying.
I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed and honored. Thank you, Lord.
You're a natural.
Tears everywhere.
You're an absolute natural.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, Hollywood should be calling you more often. You're gonna,
Tell them again. Say it louder for the seats in the back.
Yeah, watch The Christmas Showdown. It's a really sweet movie, holiday movie. Yes, it's called The Christmas Showdown, but it's perfect for New Year's Eve tonight. So I hope people stream that again. It's on HBO Max.
Thank you.
Oh, you're such a sweetie. Okay, and then lastly, let's talk about this Bridgerton special event.
Yes. Okay, I love myself some period pieces. I talk about period pieces here all the time. And Bridgerton has a candlelight string series that they do with a lot of different things. Not Bridgerton, but there's a candlelight series. This time it's being centered around Bridgerton, which their 4th season is dropping on January 29th. And I love the fact that, the sexiest man alive doesn't make an appearance this time around.
Oh, he does
Jonathan Bailey. He was in season 2. But what people can do is they can catch up and then go and listen to the candlelight string quartet that's happening for the candlelight series. It's so beautiful. And I think the tickets are like around $26, somewhere in that range.
Reasonable.
It's very reasonable.
Okay, and this runs January 3rd through February 21st. This is all the information right there on the screen. Carla's podcast, by the way, it's called The Curvy Critic. Check it out. Happy New Year to you. Love you so much, sweetheart.
I love you, Black.
Yeah. can't believe you choked up. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Aw.
Oh, Marla.
First, I'm going to promote you. California will end Medi-Cal coverage for popular weight loss drugs like Wegovy starting tomorrow, January 1st, citing soaring pharmaceutical costs. This means low-income residents will no longer be covered for these drugs. The move comes despite the Trump administration's announcements of price cuts for the exact medications. California is joining several other states in restricting an option they say is no longer affordable as they confront soaring pharmaceutical costs and steep Medicaid cuts under the Trump administration. We'll be right back. All right, live look right now. That is the famous ball in Times Square, way up there. So a live look there in the Big Apple. It's ready to drop in, 2 hours from now as we approach 7 o'clock. That means it is 10 o'clock in New York City. The ball weighs 12,350 pounds. Speaking of poundage, 3,000 pounds of confetti will also drop in Times Square for all the revelers down there. Okay, here's what's coming up tonight. You can join me for LA Live News Tonight from 8 to 10 on Fox 11 Plus. That's channel 13. And then Christine Devine, she is off tonight because she is preparing for the Rose Parade and covering that for you dark and early tomorrow. Well, not necessarily dark and early, 7 a.m. The sun will be up. She and Bob DeCastro will be out there for our live coverage of the Rose Parade. That means Susan Harrisuna will be here tonight at 10 o'clock for Good Night LA. And a reminder, you can watch the countdown to 2026 live on Fox 11 starting at 10:30 tonight, right after Good Night LA. It's airing commercial free. And that does it for me on this final newscast of 2025, 6 p.m. newscast.
In the new year, bringing good luck and good energy into 2026. So we are watching right now. The countdown is on.